I'm going to introduce you guys to the President of the Alumni Association, Mr. J.P. Schultes, from the class of 1989. J.P.
Good morning. Let me first recognize my colleagues on the Alumni Association Board of Governors. If you guys could stand up, those who are with me today. Give them a round of applause, please. It is on their behalf that I welcome you all to this Kelley Medal Breakfast. We have with us today some of our past Kelley Medal recipients who honor us with their presence, and I ask that they stand and be recognized as well. Gentlemen, please stand up. As Pat said, we have our president, Anthony Day, as well as, most importantly, Judge Matricciani, our 2014 Kelley Medal recipient, along with his fellow alumni, classmates, friends, and family. Thank you for joining us on this most special occasion. The Kelley Medal is the most prestigious award and the highest form of recognition that can be given to a loyal alumnus. Named in honor of Father Joseph M. Kelley, who taught here for nearly 40 years, the Kelley Medal recognizes an alumnus who has served with distinction in his profession, who exemplifies the Ignatian spirit by being a man for others in his religious and civic affairs, and by serving as a role model in both his public and private life. When you look at the list of Kelley Medal recipients, you'll notice that they come from all walks of life. Some have been priests, some have been public servants, like judges, and some have been respected businessmen. And this is exactly as St. Ignatius intended. And I'll come back to that in a second. You'll recall at his investiture ceremony back in November, President Day addressed the Lowell Bayfield community. And during his remarks, he talked about St. Ignatius and the principles in which St. Ignatius founded his schools. Mr. Stoops spoke about it in his prayer. So you remember the following about his founding of the Jesuit colleges, and Mr. Stoop also quoted this. From among those who are now merely students, in time, some will depart to play diverse roles, one to preach and carry on the care of souls, another to government of the land and the administration of justice, and others to other callings. Just as St. Ignatius had envisioned, our alumni, and in particular, our Kelley Medal recipients, all play important and diverse roles in our society. A great example is Judge Matricciani's role in and dedication to the administration of justice. And even though our Kelley Medal recipients come from different backgrounds and play different roles, the ones I've had the privilege to meet all had one common trait, and I think you'll find this trait in all of them. They are humble. Humble because they recognize that God has given them many gifts, just like He's given to us. And they use these gifts in special ways to serve others, not for fame or fortune, but for the greater glory of God. As President of the Alumni Association, I am proud of our activities. We constantly engage our alumni through various events. We fulfill our spiritual mission by sponsoring service projects. And we support the school and Blakefield community in many different ways. But in my view, the most important thing that we do is deliberate on and choose who will receive the Kelley Medal. Now, some of the folks to my right might be wondering, well, if this is an Alumni Association event, and our awardee is an alumni, and this is so important alumni, what is the class of 2014 doing? And the class of 2014 might be thinking, and I speak from experience, this is great. I first period off, he keeps talking, maybe second period, maybe third. Great, nice breakfast, and I get seconds and thirds. And how many days until graduation? Like I said, I speak from experience. The truth is, we invite the senior class to this ceremony because this is our chance to reach out and connect to you, as you will soon be joining us as loyal Blakefield alumni. And we know you are looking forward to graduation and beginning a new phase in your life, whatever that may be. But before you leave Loyola and the watchful eye of John Stewart, we embrace this opportunity to share with you a person who is one of our role models, a person who embodies in word and deed the ideals of St. Ignatius, of Father Kelley and Loyola Blakefield. It is now my honor to introduce our 2004 Kelley Medal recipient. Judge Albert J. Matricciani Jr. was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and graduated from Loyola in 1965. He received his Bachelor's of Arts degree from Villanova University, his JD from the University of Maryland School of Law, and his MLA from Johns Hopkins. Judge Matricciani spent almost 20 years in private practice with the law firm of Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston before he was appointed Associate Judge to the Circuit Court of Baltimore City in 1995. And Judge, not to make you feel old, but I don't think any of the seniors were even around in 1995. After 13 years of service on the Circuit Court, Judge Matricciani was appointed to the Maryland Court of Special Appeals, a great honor for those of us in the legal profession. In addition to the many professional associations and clubs that he participated in and is a member, Judge Matricciani has received many awards for his leadership and dedication to pro bono activities on behalf of those who are most vulnerable in our society. I could go on about his accomplishments and accolades, but as I mentioned, Kelley Medal recipients are humble, and he doesn't need to hear his accomplishments. So I'll conclude with a brief quote from Ryan Birch, class of 1996, who wrote this on Judge Matricciani's behalf. Judge Matricciani's compassionate dedication to justice and the Baltimore community serves as an example to the students and alumni of Loyola Blakefield on how to live the ideals of Ignatius while pursuing excellence in one's profession. Without further ado, our 2014 Kelley Medal recipient, Judge Albert J. Matricciani Jr. Judge.
Quoting the great American philosopher Yogi Berra, who remarked on an occasion like this in 1947, "Thanks for making this day necessary." Good morning again. I haven't been back to Blakefield for a while, and it is a tremendous honor to be here with you today to accept the Father Joseph Kelley Medal. I knew Father Kelley. He was our physics lab instructor when I was a senior here at Loyola. And I can tell you honestly that he would be absolutely flabbergasted to learn what's going on here today. But I want to thank the Alumni Association, the board, particularly those members who were involved in selecting me as this year's recipient. I want to thank Tommy Wagner, Ryan Birch, the other dons who put my name forward for this prestigious award, and as well as those who spoke in my behalf. I'm told from my classmates that my good friend Ford Loper takes full credit for having convinced everyone in his typical advocate's way that I was the one who was supposed to get it this year. And when I see him, I will be certain to thank him for that. It's very special to have my name listed among those past Kelley Medal honorees, a list that includes one of my dad's very good friends, a gentleman by the name of Jim Lozzotti, who played baseball with him at Loyola College, one of my current colleagues, Judge Larry Radowski, who's retired from the Court of Appeals and sits with us on a regular basis, my former law partner, Judge Norris Burns, who's here, and his brother David was a classmate of mine when I was at Loyola. And the super don of the class of 65, John Wheatonkamp, it's always a pleasure to be here with him, as well as the other medal honorees. It's great to meet them and to know others who've been honored by my alma mater. We have 4 Loyola grads on our court, which I think is somewhat unusual. I sit on an appellate court that meets in Annapolis, and it isn't like a trial court. It's after the trials are over and people take appeals from those. They come down to Annapolis, the lawyers submit briefs, which we read, and then they have oral argument before a panel of 3 judges. It's been my good fortune on more than one occasion to sit in an all-Don panel because Judge Radowski sits with us, Judge Ray Teamy, who is a Loyola grad, Judge Bob Zarnock, who is a Loyola grad, and myself are all there. And it happens occasionally that 3 of us are together. And we have joked about that from time to time. And I will admit to you that there are no Calvert Hall grads. In the brief time that I had this morning, I wanted to address a few words to students. I know I look like an old guy to you, but I recall like it was yesterday sitting in your place. High school for me was not always what I had dreamed. I, like most of you, dreamt of academic honors, sports victories, and all the prettiest girls coming after me. In fact, like perhaps some of you, I struggled at times. There were times when my grades suffered. I gained a lot of weight during my time in high school. I lost confidence in myself at times. And it was only after I left this place that I realized what had stuck with me. It was the depth of the academic experience, the discipline, the character lessons, and it was all of that which later brought me whatever success I've had, and which carried me to this day, 49 years after my Loyola graduation. As I'm sure you've been told many times, Ignatius didn't intend to found an order of contemplatives, who would withdraw from the secular world to a monastery and save it through prayer. Rather, he envisioned an army of soldiers deeply engaged in the activities of the real world, carrying God's message to look out for one another. So it isn't uncommon in my life, or I think in yours, to encounter Jesuits in our court system. There was a public defender when I first started working there. In hospitals, Father Drynan served in Congress during the Watergate hearings, running nonprofit enterprises, and even now running the Vatican for the first time with Pope Francis, and kicking a little butt along the way. So you might ask how that experience has affected me in my career as a lawyer and judge. And I would say that it's provided a unique perspective on the notion of justice. St. Augustine, my other alma mater's guiding light, asked, in the absence of justice, what is sovereignty but organized robbery? And we see vivid examples of that scenario today in the Crimea and Cairo and in many other places. But an issue I'd like to pursue with you another time, in a more relaxed setting, is what is the role of the just person in the modern world? How do we carry the lessons learned here forward in our lives and impact the lives of others in a positive way? One of my favorite philosophers, other than Yogi, is a gentleman named Michael Sandel at Harvard, who lectures and writes on the concepts of justice and morality. He would contend that it's your duty to behave in a way that respects the dignity of every other human being. Perhaps we'll find the time to explore those ideas another day, and I'm curious to learn what you think about the future and your special roles in it. And of course, I want to know if you've considered what justice means to each one of you. In the meantime, I'll offer you a few quick suggestions. All of you have talents, or you wouldn't be here at this special place we call Blakefield. You may choose to use those talents in different ways as the years go by, but go by they will, and quicker than you can imagine. So here's my simple advice to you. Number 1, choose wisely a life partner who shares your values, as I did. Be involved in your professions and your communities because you have a great deal to give. Never let the mean-spirited convince you that you have no duty to help those who lack your resources. Take good care of your family and friends. And remember St. Ignatius' words that one rare and exceptional deed is worth more than 1,000 commonplace ones. Before I close, I just wanted to mention that I recently learned about a close friend and classmate who's struggling with brain cancer. He was our homeroom beadle when we were here, and I don't know, do you still have those? They're looking at me very oddly. But he's going through a very difficult time. And so this morning I would like to accept this medal for him and for all my friends from the class of 1965. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judge. Alumni Association, I would like to award the Honorable Albert J. Matricciani Jr. from the class of 1965 with the 2014 Kelley Medal.